The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us. It's 5 a.m. on this Tuesday. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. You now to your 17 Court Watch. A man facing charges in connection to a shooting outside the Valley Plaza appeared in court for the first time. 53-year-old Joe Garcia entered a plea of not guilty. He's charged with aggravated assault with a firearm and attempted murder. The shooting happened in the parking lot outside the Red Robin restaurant earlier this month. There were some reports that the shooting was the result of a dog theft, but Bakersfield police would only say the victim was in the parking lot for a, quote, prearranged meeting. Bakersfield police are still looking for a second suspect that they believe was also involved in the shooting. 19-year-old Abraham Hernandez Morales of Bakersfield. If you know anything about the case, call BPD at 327-7111.
Scary moments for a local mom after another woman allegedly stole her car with a toddler in the back seat. This all happened Saturday afternoon on 34th Street. Police say Melissa Sherwood approached the car with its engine running with a 13-year-old and a 3-year-old inside. She's accused of ordering the teen to get out of the car, then drive off with the toddler while the mother tried to stop her. An hour later, police say they found the car, as well as Sherwood and the toddler, at a home in Northwest Bakersfield. The child was reunited with the mother. Sherwood was arrested for carjacking, kidnapping, and child endangerment. She's due in court later today.
A fast-moving fire engulfed a home in central Bakersfield. The two-alarm fire broke out on Q Street. Firefighters say it was a vacant building that caught fire. No injuries were reported. The cause is under investigation.
Our cameras were rolling last night when they captured the aftermath of this crash on the I-5. This is about a mile south of 7th Standard Road, and you can see a big rig sitting on its side. CHP describing this as a major injury crash. We're still waiting to hear back on the condition of the driver or anyone else involved, and there's no word yet on how the crash happened.
An investigation's underway into the deaths of two men found inside a car that plunged into a canal. Police say they were called out to East Panama Lane for a report of a car going into a canal last week. Officers found the vehicle but say they weren't able to reach it to determine if anyone was inside due to the fast-moving water. Search and rescue crews were called out and they pulled that vehicle out of the water. That's when police discovered the two men dead inside. Their names have not been released. Hillary was the first tropical storm to hit Southern California in nearly a century. As feared, the fast-moving storm quickly triggered damaging floods across Southern California, especially in the mountain and desert cities east of Los Angeles, turning roads into swift-moving rivers and triggering mudslides, leaving some communities cut off. Aaron McLaughlin has more.
Across the Southwest, they're doing their best with the destruction Tropical Storm Hillary left behind. In San Bernardino National Forest, panic and devastation. A massive mudslide barreling down the highway Sunday evening. Firefighters stranded, the debris narrowly missing resident Vicki Jelly Ross's house.
The mud is all the way across and all the way down the street.
What did it sound like?
Worse than thunder. I didn't know if it was going to come over the top of this hill or into the house.
Now the race is on to clear the road and free a town trapped by the mud. Residents say the mountain just gave way and came pouring down this road. What's left, about 6 feet of mud. You can see this is like quicksand. And officials say that until this is clear, an entire town is cut off. Across the Southwest, officials assess the damage. In the Mojave Desert, an 18-wheeler up to its windows in mud. With rainfall records set across the region, Palm Springs narrowly avoiding disaster after the 911 emergency lines temporarily went down, as 50% of their average annual rainfall fell in only 6 hours. Entire neighborhoods blanketed in sludge, residents evacuated by bulldozers.
The 10 being washed out both directions, that's not a good sign.
In Mexico, water rushed the roads. While Los Angeles avoided the worst of the storm, the rapid rain did leave firefighters pulling this car from the LA River. Elsewhere, others looked on in disbelief.
And then you come and then out of nowhere your car's floating.
Incredibly, no injuries or deaths reported in the U.S. A sigh of relief. This could have been so much worse.
As we reported here first almost 2 weeks ago, a cyber attack knocked out the MLS server, a vital tool for real estate agents. Meantime, real estate software provider Rapatoni has been out of commission since August 8th, affecting real estate operations in Bakersfield and throughout much of the state. In fact, we've since learned the cyber attack is impacting 12 states. But the end could be in sight, at least in Bakersfield. Derek Sprague, CEO of the Bakersfield Association of Realtors, tells 17 News that they're hoping to be fully up and running today. Rapatoni, based in Westlake Village, says it's been working with the FBI, their insurers, and technical experts to resolve the issue.
Making headlines around the nation, President Biden is back in Lake Tahoe this morning after a visit to Maui yesterday. The president and First Lady surveyed the damage on the island. They will remain in Lake Tahoe until Saturday. And it was their first trip to Maui since those deadly and catastrophic wildfires ravaged parts of the island. The president took on his familiar role of consoler-in-chief when delivering remarks on the devastation. NBC's Bree Jackson has more from Washington.
President Biden and the First Lady getting a first-hand look at the aftermath of the deadly Maui wildfires.
Jill and I are here to grieve with you, but also want you to know the entire country is here for you.
During his visit, the president met with first responders and survivors. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the flames tore the island and their lives apart.
After that first house got ignited, the wind came up more to 80 miles per hour. And we heard things explode and set stuff on fire, and the wind was crazy. It was scary.
Some have criticized the Biden administration's response, including the initial $700 critical needs payments given to cover necessities like food and water.
It's a huge slap in the face.
Officials say the sense of frustration on the island is understandable.
People lost their homes, they lost their town, they lost family members, and so it's not for me to try to invalidate someone's frustration. I can tell you that I've never seen such a robust federal response.
The federal government approving more than $8 million in aid so far. President Biden vowing more federal support for as long as it takes.
We will be respectful of the sacred grounds and the traditions that rebuild the way the people of Maui want to build, not the way others want to build.
Sending a message of hope to a community that's lost so much. And President Biden named Bob Fenton, a regional leader at FEMA, to be the chief federal response coordinator for the Maui wildfires. Fenton will be responsible for long-term recovery efforts. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Former President Donald Trump says he'll turn himself in Thursday on the charges stemming from his efforts to stay in office. Trump announced his plan on social media last night. According to his post, the former president will submit to local authorities in Atlanta on charges of alleged interference in the 2020 election. The Fulton County Sheriff's Office says the area around the jail will be on a hard lockdown when Trump does turn himself in. District Attorney Fannie Willis has given the former president and his co-defenders until noon Friday to voluntarily surrender. This all comes on the same week of the first GOP presidential debate in Iowa. The debate is set for tomorrow. Trump says he will not participate.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.